What's already this Kieran and Reese, otherwise known as the accessible scheme of the O.C.G, and I've been playing more Resident Evil 4, this time doing the mercenary, well not mercenary, I'm sorry, separate ways, that's what I meant to say. And I've only played separate ways once, so I played it at launch, and now I'm kind of going back in and seeing how I feel. God, please forgive me for killing you. Sorry, I had to charge the controller.
Parece que me toca bailar, hermano.
No way to finish a dance. Your favorite, I believe?
Excellent timing, Ada. You know how I feel about being tied up. And yes, many thanks. You see, those annoying monks took everything from me.
Including the amber?
No. Cleverly hidden just before they grabbed me.
Well, then lead the way.
My pleasure. And here we go.
Hold on, let me make sure. I'm live. I've had a lot of problems with my streams not going live. It's fucking annoying as hell. No fucking autoplay. Okay, we're live. Just making sure.
Wait.
Is it close?
Not exactly. But it's safe.
No amber, no deal. You know the terms.
We're good. We're good. What do you want with it, anyway?
I don't know. Yet.
Dungeons. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.
Won't budge. We've got company. They're looking for us. But we're taking the high road. Got it?
Understood.
I also thought it was really interesting how they made the Verdugo,
Up you go, Luis.
or U-43, U-23, U-43, actually enemy that pursues you across the entire game.
Touch the ember.
Well, her game.
Later.
No! Sorry, what kind of a man leaves a lady? Then we meet at the church. Let's not make it a funeral, eh?
Ah, fuck.
This is all in my head.
Okay, so it's the one with the glowing eyes.
Found you.
This is only the first time you fight him.
And stay gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ada, he's going to do the exact opposite of that. Yeah, you started out this chapter in the castle, but you don't stay here for very long. You start out in the castle, then you go to the village, and you come back to the castle.
Control, come in. Luis hit the amber, but I've sent him to retrieve it. Control, do you copy?
I'm listening. Go on.
We ran into some unexpected trouble.
And? What will you do about it?
Luis is already en route to the church. I'm tracking him every step of the way.
Very well. Then I suggest you hurry.
Copy. Just need to confirm my route first. Heading out to get a visual of the area.
Hey, I forgot she has a grapple gun. And the, vision, spy vision. Yeah, you come to the castle, during sunrise. Which in the main game, you literally never see the castle during the daytime.
That looks dangerous. Better tread carefully. I wonder what that is. That's where I need to go.
Stick to the high ground. You have the means. Don't forget your mission. The Amber. Nothing else matters. Wrap this little tour up and bring it to me.
You also have a lot more scenes with Wesker, so that's cool.
Understood. But maybe a little sightseeing first.
Hold on a second, sorry. God, my leg's killing me. Fuck. And they carefully coordinated her path so that it perfectly crisscrosses Leon's without ever having any overlaps that would make sense. Like her coming up from the top, so she doesn't come through the door. Otherwise, be like, well, why did Leon have to open the door instead of blowing it up? Like, little stuff like that. Oh yeah, I forgot. Not only does Ada have this cool black steel knife, but it's she wields it backhanded, which is cool. It's a cool way to bring the knife mechanics over while still keeping her stuff fresh from Leon's. Or not letting you destroy those bears.
I'll need to disable the catapults.
Well, she does it in a different way. Oh yeah, I forgot she can grab on enemies. After stunning them, which is pretty fucking cool. Her arsenal sucks at first, but it gets a lot better. And that was actually, in the original Separate Ways, that was the worst part. Was her arsenal. Because in the original game, her arsenal fucking sucked compared to Leon's, only she could never upgrade it. So it was like, most of Separate Ways was just going through the same areas that Leon went through, fighting the same enemies, but with shittier weapons. Thankfully, that's not the case here. She gets considerably more weapons in this DLC and can upgrade them, so they don't just suck. Like, originally she had a pump action shotgun, a lever action, which is actually kind of cool. You don't see it a lot in games, but it sucked because it wasn't upgradable and all the enemies outpaced it. That's no longer the case. Now it can be upgraded, and they took an actual shitty gun and made it fun. So, same with her crossbow. She had a crossbow that fired explosive bolts, and on paper that sounds cool, but it was way too underpowered to the point where it's fucking useless. Which has now been fixed, because it's actually good now. Oh, that's right, I have to go this way. Ha ha ha!
Lights out.
I'm pretty sure our enemies just keep spawning. So I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm just trying to make sure I explore everything. Okay, just making sure. And even, like, they do a very good job of, one, Ada gets a ton of unique areas that Leon doesn't visit ever. But even when you visit an area that Leon did visit, you'll see it at a different time of day, or be able to reach different parts in it because of the grappling hook. Whereas, in the original Separate Ways, literally there's only one area in the entire fucking game that you go to that Leon doesn't. And that is a battleship. So, like, 5 of the 6 missions with her, or I'm sorry, 4 of the 5 missions, my bad, are just exploring the Leon's areas in a slightly different order, fighting the same enemies but with shitty arsenal. And then you get one cool mission on a battleship that's unique, and then it's over. It was just kind of thrown in. But now you get a shit ton of cool new areas. And even when you revisit areas, they don't just have you doing the same shit. It's a different time of day, different places in that same area. Like, you couldn't reach these points here, but you can because Ada has a grappling hook.
Nothing personal.
And you could use the grappling hook in separate ways, but it was for very, very inconsequential shit. For the most part, they didn't make very good use of it. They do a lot better in this one. So, you know, some people were mad they didn't include Separate Ways at launch, and it was a DLC, but the truth is that's because if they had done the Separate Ways the way it was in the original game, it would have fucking sucked. It was fine, right? It's fine when it was a free pack-in included in the PS2 version of the game to say, hey, sorry you had to wait extra long, because the GameCube version came out in January, and the PS2 version came out in October, so nearly a year. So it's like, oh, here's a little bonus. But for a whole fucking thing in the remake, it would have stood out as sucking. So they were like, you know, we're going to include Separate Ways, but we're going to way the fuck build it out and make it, instead of just being like a kind of a neat bonus that's, just a fun curiosity, we're going to make it into a full expansion. And so I don't mind them making people wait like 6 or 7 months for it because, like I said, they dramatically overhauled and redesigned it to be so much more than it ever was. That takes time. And 2, they put infinitely more work into it than the original game ever did. So
Almost out of here.
I was okay with it not being a pack-in. Plus, all the moments that people bitched about that the original game didn't have, they were given to Ada. And that was so that she actually has a role in the plot and gets to have iconic moments from the game in her campaign. But it's not, I want to make this clear, it's not like they cut it out and like, oh, we're cutting a slice of the game and making you buy it separately. Resident Evil 4 already, just without those scenes, was still... The remake was still bigger than the original, even without those scenes. It was far bigger than the original. So you're still getting more than the original game. They just wanted to give her important scenes too. And this is a surprisingly lengthy DLC. I got about 6 hours in it, and there's still 2 or 3 side quests I hadn't done, and there's still New Game Plus. And bear in mind, these games aren't that long anyway, so you could easily get 7 or 8 hours if you're doing absolutely everything, and if you go through it a second time, over 10 hours. Obviously, you're going to go through it much quicker in New Game Plus. And when you consider the fact that it's like a $10 DLC, that is a really good length, especially considering the horror games are not that long anyway, you know what I mean? Resident Evil, that's one of the parts of Resident Evil. A lot of Resident Evil games are on the shorter side, and they make up for it by being highly replayable. And that was the end of chapter 1 of 7. And that honestly is one of the shorter ones. The chapters vary in length, but they're all pretty long, and some of them are really fucking long. So, and I actually think this is about a third of the length of the main game. So you have 3 acts in the main game: village, castle, island. This is about the size of the village or the castle. So when you compare the fact that this is only $10, but it's a third of the size of the base game, which was $60, you are getting way more bang for your buck. And that's what's important. And I've tried to say this specifically. People are like, well, what constitutes an overpriced DLC? Especially because different games have different lengths. And that is true. An RPG and an FPS game are usually the same price. $70 new, now 70 is the new norm. But RPG is much longer. And to be fair, genres, a shooter may take just as much money and time to develop as an RPG, but they don't lend themselves well to a longer length, as long as length. Most of the time, you know, shooters fall apart of 60 hours. So you're just going to have some genres that are longer than others. So there's not one universal guide to a DLC should be this long, but there is a metric, okay, that I use. Your DLC should be directly proportional to the main game, okay? So put it like this: if your main game is 6 hours and you're charging $60, then if you come out with the DLC for 20, you're charging a quarter of the price, then I'm expecting that DLC to be at least 2 hours. You're asking me to pay a quarter of the price of the base game, whatever that is, so I expect it to be a quarter of the length. If a game is fucking 60 hours, and you ask me to pay a quarter of the price, then I expect 20 hours DLC. It should be proportional to the length of the game. Because, like, literally, if you release a game at this price, you're saying, I think this much content is worth this much from us. So then the DLC, well, has to follow that metric. And like I said, this actually winds up being more bang for your buck. And that's great because we've got a lot of DLCs lately. That was like the base game is really long and the DLC is really short, but the DLC is pricey. Even fucking games I really like, even DLCs I really like Final Fantasy 16, I really 100% completed it. Its DLCs were fucking phenomenal, but they were really short. And the base game is like 40 hours for the main story, and like 60, 70 to do absolutely everything. I'm not counting the second New Game Plus playthrough. And the DLCs were like 10 hours together. They were fucking amazing 10 hours, but did feel kind of overpriced for like $25 season pass. But once again, I ultimately love them so much that I don't regret buying them. But yeah, you do need to proportional, and this is more than proportional. So
So he wants me to retrieve the amber. An object of ill omen. What terrible actions will be done in its name, and who will pay its dark cost? Because in this world, someone always pays. Best not to ask who or why. I understood that. Made my peace with it. Until that one night in Raccoon City changed everything.
And I do love the fact that they do show the effect that Ada has had on, or Leon has had on Ada. We see a lot how Ada has affected Leon, but they really show in this game more that it's a two-way relationship, and how she had a kill or be killed mentality. She's seen nothing but cruelty in the world, and her worldview kind of got shaken up when she met Leon, because she met somebody that she thought was a truly good person. That's why she fell for Leon. You know, she may have tried to take advantage of his naivete. That's also why she has feelings for Leon. She has fucked a bunch of people. In fact, she got the original sample because she was fucking a researcher. You can find her notes about her in Resident Evil 1 talking about Ada. But she actually cares about Leon because he's a genuinely good person. And to her, for all these people in their world, that everybody's got an angle and everybody's playing this, Leon is the only person in her life that is just genuinely trying to do the right thing, even at great personal sacrifice. And you see, or like when she refuses to give Wesker the sample, that's a cool title card. It's because of Leon. Because, you know, she sees the damage you do, and dude, I can't play a part in this.
I'm heading to meet Luis at the rendezvous point now.
I'm seeing increased movement from Los Eliminados. Don't get careless.
Copy. Ada out. Almost at the church.
I also didn't really care for, you know, they also have way more scenes with Wesker in this game, which is great. Wesker was in the original RE4, both the mercenaries, and he pops up at the end to talk to Ada, but he's not in it like a major character. Like, they talk about him a lot, so you don't really see him a lot. You see him, and even in the original Separate Ways, you see a couple of conversations with him over the intercom. They don't go into it. They have a lot more scenes with Ada and Wesker. And I like that because Wesker's fucking awesome. He's pretty much the main villain of Resident Evil. And he's one of the only villains that has stuck around through entries. Most of the time they have a villain and they're dispatched in that game. I mean, hell, even in this game, every single villain besides Wesker, who isn't really in this game as the villain, is killed. So, you know, he's the only, like, really persistent villain that has stuck around. And I like Wesker a lot, so it's good to get a lot more scenes with him. And Ada and Wesker have, like, this mentality where they are the same and different. They both have their own self-interests. They both kind of hate each other, but they also respect each other, because Wesker and Ada's worldview are the same but different. Wesker thinks... Wesker and Ada both think that the world... kill the strong, eat the weak. That the world kills the weak, and you have to do what you got to do to survive. Ada, however, sees it as an unfortunate reality, where I've got to do what I've got to do to survive. Wesker likes it and thinks that should be the way of the world. So they both have a viewpoint, but it differs. They're both self-serving their interests. But they also both have a begrudging respect for each other, because Ada will freely admit Wesker is not somebody to lightly be fucking trifled with, and even Wesker shows that he would think twice before betraying Ada. One of the few people that Wesker would think twice about fucking with. Not that he wouldn't if he had to, but just about anyone else would be like, I'm not scared of them. He would think twice about fucking with Ada. Or see, like this area right here. You visit this area as Leon, but you don't visit this tier. Like up high with the grappling hook. So even when you revisit past areas, they usually find a way to counterbalance it and make it so you're not just doing the same shit. In the original Separate Ways, you were just visiting the same fucking areas in mostly the same order. It was kind of tolerable because it was still cool to play Zeta. They still included some new stuff. And ultimately, it was a free pack-in for PS2. But yeah, wouldn't have stood on its own, or people just playing that. So when they knew they had to include this in the remake, they knew they had to do some major overhauling.
Lights out.
And I'm glad they did. Resident Evil has developed a strong reputation for having fucking awesome DLCs, honestly. And this does not break that streak. You had fucking Resident Evil 5, which has Lost in Nightmares, which people really fucking love. That was the first real DLC for Resident Evil. Desperate Escape is okay, but still good. But Lost in Nightmares was actually a callback to Spencer Mansion. And at the time, being able to see the Spencer Mansion with 360 graphics, because it's not really Spencer Mansion, but it's a near replica of the Spencer Mansion in the fucking RE lore, was really cool. And a lot of people thought that there was too much action in Resident Evil 5, so having a more horror-based DLC was a great change of pace. Resident Evil 6 didn't have any DLC, but it was by far the longest Resident Evil ever. I still think it actually is. Maybe not in a sheer map size, but in terms of actual length, yeah, Resident Evil 6 is actually really fucking long. But RE7 had a bunch of great DLCs, capping off with Not a Hero, which is fucking awesome, and is the real ending to the game. And you might be mad and say, oh, the DLC is a real ending to the game. Yeah, but it's a free DLC, so you can't really bitch about that. And they did a good job of making it feel different to play as Chris, Cassie. And then Resident Evil 8 had the Shadow of Rose DLC. Fucking incredible. Honestly, that DLC is so fucking good that not only is it just an incredible DLC in its own right, but it, as a kind of a retroactive third act, it actually makes the game way better. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Yeah, so modeled to call back to 4. This is before the remake, several years. RE7 was meant to call back to the first game. RE8 is not like a rip-off of 4. But for the most part, RE8 did a good job doing what 4 did. They balanced horror and action. So it was intense, but it never felt like an action game. And like 80% of Resident Evil 8 is fucking awesome. They have tons of unique settings. They managed to balance the horror and the action perfectly so that it is always tense and it never feels like a shooter. The Lycans are fucking great enemies. They managed to balance many different villains without making it feel overcrowded. Different settings. And I really like 8. But then they have this whole segment where you play as Chris, and it literally almost turns into a scene from a Call of Duty game. Because you're calling in airstrikes, drones, coordinating with people in SEALs outfits, and it just goes full fucking action. I mean, like, it is ludicrously over the top. Even more than the Boulder Punch, because that was kind of like one thing. This is an entire sequence, and it starts off with a fucking robot mech fight, and I wish I was joking, and goes into this whole thing. And then the game kind of pulls out of that for the end. But all that's left after that is a boss fight. And the boss fight is good, but it's not enough to... So it's like, I fucking love RE8, and then it just jumps the fucking shark in the most insane way imaginable. I wouldn't say it's a bad game or anything like that, because even when it jumps the shark, it's still enjoyable. It's not like a truly badly designed thing. It just breaks the pace. But, like, they had such a good job. They had done such a good job of keeping the pace going, and then just jumped off of a fucking cliff. They heard the complaints about that, because it's far from me that it feels that way. Pretty much everybody agrees. Like, what the fuck happened there? So when they did Shadows of Rose, the goal was to make it as scary as fucking possible, and it's one of the scariest parts of the game, and actually of the series. Shadows of Rose is fucking spooky, and on top of that, they go for a kind of psychological horror that's more in her head. So it's a type of horror that you're not as used to playing in Resident Evil. It's more like in Silent Hill, but it's done really fucking well. And Shadows of Rose takes place after the events of the main game wrap up, and is pretty much like another act. And really does need to be played to properly appreciate the story, as it wraps up a lot of loose threads from 8 and sets up 9 more completely. And it should be played after you beat the game. I mean, of course, you're gonna like spoil the whole game if you don't. But it really works as like a third act, an added third act. And Shadows of Rose is so good that it brings up the game around it. Because my biggest problem with the base RE8 is the way that the horror nosedives at the very end. But Shadows of Rose is the proper ending and brings the horror back up to full fucking force. So, if you view Shadows of Rose as the third act, which it really is, and play it after you beat the game, instead of the shitty action scene being the fucking pace flatlining at the end, it's just one tiny dip before it comes back up. I love Shadows of Rose so much, and it completes the story so much, that it raises the estimation of the game for me. Like, it's a 9 without Shadows of Rose, it's a fucking 10 with it. Shadows of Rose is fucking incredible. And then this is also a fantastic fucking DLC. I don't think I like this more story-wise than Shadows of Rose, because Shadows of Rose is just absolutely fantastic story-wise. It was them kind of trying a different type of horror that they didn't try, and they fucking nailed it. But this is also the longest DLC they've ever made for Resident Evil. Obviously, Resident Evil's not long games, so the DLCs are not going to be that long, but still.
What a warm welcome.
And I've spoken to lots of people who are like, yeah, I like the RE8, but like, what the fuck was that going on with the pace? And I'm like, okay, I get that. I totally get that. Play Shadows of Rose. It fixed it. And it also feels completely fresh because you're playing a new character with new powers. And also because it kind of recontextualizes. And I'm sorry, pausing about it. It recontextualizes Rose because spoilers for RE8. They show you're going to be playing as Ethan's daughter, and she has psychic powers, and you kind of thinking, well, one, there's a huge fucking time skip of almost like 20 years, the biggest time skip in any fucking Resident Evil game ever. It actually puts the modern RE timeline to like 2030, 2040, because RE8 actually takes place in 2021, the year it was set. So, and Rose is a toddler. She's a fucking 17, 18, 19. So, just about 20-year fucking time jump. And then, we're going to have psychic powers, and that kind of seems ridiculous. But when you actually play Shadows of Rose, they actually managed to expertly balance it because she has way less guns. So that's offset by her psychic power. Her psychic power is on like a great cooldown, and it's used to stop enemies. But there's like huge enemies that hoard you. So she has cool powers and she can do stuff that other protagonists can't. But it's not a fucking mystical power. She's not a wizard. And she has to carefully ration it out. And you are expected to make careful use of it to stop from being fucking overwhelmed. So, and they make up for that by giving her less guns. So you have to offset it with the use of her powers. And they still manage to make it feel tense because you have to carefully choose when to use it. You spam her powers, you're not going to have it there when you need it. And she has such little ammo and supplies that it's like a last ditch, like freeze enemies that you're surrounded by so you can try to get like your breath. And it's also a tool they use for solving puzzles. So I'm like, how the fuck is it going to work as a horror game with her having powers? But if they followed that blueprint for RE9, because they kind of make it seem like she's going to be the hero of RE9, I'm totally fucking down with it. And I like the fact that they managed to give her psychic powers and not ruin the balance of the game and not make it not horror is a fucking feat in and of itself, because they really easily could have turned it into a type of game that it fucking was not. And I'm really impressed by how they did that. If they had made her powers not good enough, then it would have been like, why did you add this? And if they made them too good, it'd be like, oh, now we're playing some like fucking weird superpower game. And instead they balance it so it's a tool in her arsenal and not a get out of jail free card. And it's actually really intense and satisfying to save your power for when you need it and freeze enemies. Like, I'm gonna run away! And they actually give you way less ammo than even in the main game. So, like, you have to be extra careful. And it's actually fantastic. Because they're like, oh, okay, people thought the main game went too hard, so let's bring it down. Plus, Shadows of Rose, I think Shadows of Rose is only like 3 hours. But the main game for RE8 wasn't that long either. RE8's like 8-10 hours. So it wanted to be proportional. And then they add the third-person mode for Ethan in the main game, which basically is like a whole different playthrough. And then they add 3 new characters to Mercenaries mode and new stages. So it was still wound up being worth it. It's a pretty great DLC. So and when you combine the Shadows of Rose DLC, the hugely upgraded Mercenaries mode, and the the third-person perspective, which actually took a massive amount of work. Like, they had to redesign the entire single-player campaign to get him to work in third person. It was built entirely around first person. You can't just switch a game that was built around first person and third person, or vice versa. Like, so many animations and things had to be redesigned to work in third person. That I actually, you know, like, a crazy amount of work went into that. Although, unfortunately, all the cutscenes are in first person. Although that I understand that at least because, well, honestly, that to redo the cutscenes in third person would have meant basically redoing all the cutscenes from the game from scratch. Every camera angle would have to be recalibrated for the fact that you're now like not controlling the angle or seeing it from either. Like every cutscene in RE8, except for the ones with Chris, which are very, very few, are seen from Ethan's point of view. So they did not build anything around where he's not looking in the cutscenes. They would have had to animate Ethan talking in his face. They would have had to make custom camera angles. And so every single cutscene in the game would need to be redone. And probably with them using mocap, would have needed to be re-mocapped in a lot of cases. So you know, and they already put a fucking shit ton of effort just into redoing the third person for the game. You know what I mean? So for a DLC, like it was approaching the part where it was almost like its own game. So I can't understand why they didn't do that, you know? Plus, they didn't want to show Ethan's face, and it would have been kind of hard to do third-person cutscenes and show particular camera angles, and then not show Ethan's face. So that kind of also sticks in line with that, but yeah. For $20, it was fucking great.
I'm seeing quite the crowd here. I wonder what has them so riled up.
The president's daughter. Undoubtedly.
Couldn't have picked a worse time.
Consider the village infected. Complete local saturation.
I've read the file. I'll see what I can do.
It's also cool to be able to visit this house in the daytime. That's a cool fucking camera angle. God, I do love the imagery of gnarled branches going up to the sky. It's something I just like about that aesthetic. I've always liked about that aesthetic. Although typically you see it a lot in winter. Because, you know, there's no leaves in the branches. But yeah. This is set during fall, so it kind of works here too. This is the boom, ready or not.
This isn't the way to the church.
No shit, Ada. I'm exploring. And that's why you make your shots fucking count.
Leon, why am I not surprised? So kind of you to keep our friends busy. Let's see if we can find another route to the church. This way looks promising.
This area is also new. Well, they're not going to get points for originality. Although you can kind of see where it is in relation to other areas. Are you fucking kidding me right now? And once again, it plays with the unique nature of Ada's grappling hook, because this is not an area that Leon could have traversed. So,
Lights out.
so we have that. Okay.
Not bad. Okay, next.
Okay, I know the symbols now. Oh. Damn it.
That's one job done. Here we are.
And normally when you see the church as Leon, it's during sundown. So it's cool to see it.
Church.
Cool to see it during the daytime.
Stood up again.
Well, in this case, it's actually not Lee's fault. He got captured again.
Sounds like he could use a little help.
La campana. Ahí anda, pun Barastello. Mátalo. Gloria a la plaga. Where's everyone going, bingo? Yes, Leon, and you're not invited. Tenemos
que servir. Al Lord Sander Todopoderoso.
Don't worry, Leon.
Also a good image.
First time's free. Don't keep me waiting, Luis.
We just lost Lewis's signal. Somewhere in the vicinity of the forest. Expect the worst.
That's near Mendez, isn't it? He has a house there. Could be worth taking a look.
Do it. I'll see what I can find from my end.
Should have known he'd be trouble.
Yeah, but he's the good kind of trouble.
I bet Leon's here to save her.
Well, you can actually hear Ashley crying in the church. That's a depressing detail that I did not notice before. Oh, okay. And kind of fucking dark, honestly.
Hurry onto the.
Okay, that's on me.
Mi cuerpo.
Here, catch.
Te voy a matar. No puede ser.
Now we get to finally talk to the merchant.
Hey, stranger. So what are you buying?
You've picked quite the place to set up shop, stranger.
Aye, and look what it brought me. Well now, let's make our first time doing business a memorable one.
Oh, that she has a special remix of the fucking Say theme too.
So that's a request done and dusted, eh? Good stuff, mate. Welcome, stranger. Well, look at you, mate. I got something new for you. Your value? A deal well struck. Well then, what can I do you for?
Punisher
That
MC,
cash in your pocket, or your
GMP stock, laser sight, sawed off, case upgrade.
All yours, stranger. That shorty's very easy to handle. It'll be perfect for you. I'll hand this over when you've got the space. All yours, stranger. Got a selection of good things on sale. Easy work. There you are, as you wished.
Treasure maps, all.
There's some things money can't buy.
Small key.
An interesting choice. Oh, I mean it in a good way, of course. Good instinct, stranger. Well, now go and cause some mayhem, eh?
Good to finally have a fucking shotgun. Okay, so she has 15 treasures in the church. Or the village, I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, most of these I'll be able to get. Okay. Most of these I couldn't have already gotten.
Sadler, the leader of the cult. So easily, huh?
Oh shit, I forgot to close the stock. Oh god! Holy shit! I was not expecting that. Fuck.
Won't let me go so easily, huh? getting thicker. Not fond of that, are we? What is wrong with me? Okay. Now for the village chief's house.
Yeah. Oh, fucking box. Oh god, fucking bugs, man. I set up traps and it's just, god, fucking bugs.
Rotten.
Yeah, they are not great chefs. Okay, that's everything in the village square except for up here, okay.
Burning flesh. I thought I'd left that life behind.
Yeah, and a nice bit of consistency. The top of the tower's already rotted through. Because if you go up there as Leon, you fall through. Thought that was cool. They acknowledged that. I love shit like that. Oh, okay, I gotta go up. Oh, wait. Okay, just making sure. Okay, there's gotta be a fucking way around. Oh no, they want me to go south. Okay, I have to come this way later. That's my bad. Okay, can't go that way.
Should be just up ahead.
Grappling hook!
Your blood has accepted the gift.
Oh, yeah. Where you going, bro? I didn't hear no bell. No, that's gotta be one of the best fucking moments of South Park, man. Fucking Randy just getting his ass whipped and someone was like, I didn't think we were done. I didn't hear no bell.
Blood?
Chapter 3. Although the game gets considerably... yeah, the later chapters are a lot fucking longer.
Keep them busy, Leon.
You know, it's really hard to believe that you genuinely care for fucking Leon when you say shit like that, Ada. I know you do. But you should really not say shit like that. Just gonna mosey on in.
Hope there's a lead on Luis here.
Fuck.
At least their holy book looks interesting.
Oh, but she didn't even read it. Not that it would do you any good at this point of the game.
This could use some cleaning.
You don't say. What gave it away? Was it the shit? It was the shit, right?
What have we here?
But at least they do actually have unique dialogue for Ada looking at shit, so I like stuff like that a lot.
Fly, my pretty.
Okay, I wasn't expecting a fucking Wizard of Oz reference, but I'll take it. Fly, my pretties! What a world! What a world!
I can't leave empty-handed.
I'm melting. Hey, I forgot about this. It's actually kind of cool. Take any, brothers and sisters, our Lord is displeased. Do not recklessly slay outsiders at will. All people have a right to fair judgment. Henceforth, we shall deliver solemn justice without prejudice. Take enemy capture the factory basement. Do the same with traitors. Probably because he's worried they would accidentally kill fucking Louise. And he needs them. To the abandoned factory, Batman!
They took him here.
God, that really caught me off guard when that happened the first time. Yeah. Still kind of does, actually. And it's another way they have a pursuer enemy, which they did not in the original game. I'm pretty sure this is you're supposed to run kind of situation, not kill. Woo! Spider Ada. Oh Lord, he coming.
Still after me, huh? Looks like I gave them the slip.
Got some wares. Perfect for a professional like yourself. Welcome. I still have some new items you might be interested in. I'll buy almost anything. A deal well struck. Will that be all then? You'll get some bang for your buck. I guarantee it. Dazzled, are you? Our craftsmanship demands no less. Well then, what can I do you for? Thank you. Do check out my wares again.
Got something.
I forgot. She can use like her fucking detective vision. It's actually pretty cool.
Locked.
Oh, she gets Leon's fucking jacket, man. So cool.
Hope he's down here. Not good. Not a soul in sight. Did Luis do this?
Fuck.
You're welcome. Well then, what can I do you for? I knew you were a go-getter. Well, look at you, mate. You can't go wrong with that. Pleasant travels. Oh, nothing. Welcome. Ooh, what you buying? A deal well struck. Hope. See you again soon, stranger.
Fuck yeah. I think I'll get a bigger item thing soon.
These belong to Luis.
$422,162S.
Is this his frequency?
Ada? I knew you'd find me.
That's my job. Are you about ready to hand over the amber?
There's a big house just outside the village past the windmill. You know it.
Yeah, I know it.
Then I'll meet you here. I'll be waiting.
Sorry, Luis. It might be a while.
Yeah, that's my fault. I didn't get far enough away. I thought I dodged far enough.
You're a tough one. Sorry, not interested.
Great job, Shannon. Alright. Now you pissed me off. I got this.
Finally.
Well, great job. You played yourself, Ada. God, please forgive me for doing my sons of deals and do them.
Having a bad day?
Wesker, to what do I owe this pleasure?
Stop wasting my time, Ada. Find Lewis. Fetch me the amber.
I should probably thank you for this room.
He did save your ass.
Back me up.
I'm not here to babysit you. See that you remain an asset and not a liability. I have absolutely no use for your incompetence.
Easy with the threats, Wesker.
Just get it done. I'll be in touch.
You're okay. I've been waiting and you're still coming, right?
Yes, just had some business to attend to. I'm on my way now.
Got it. See you soon. Ciao.
Just my luck. I'm empty.
Got some wares. Perfect for a professional like yourself. Welcome. I've got something new for you, mate. All yours, stranger.
Oh, thank fuck.
Will that be?
Okay. No, hold on.
Thank you. Do check out my wares again soon. Welcome. Good luck to you, stranger. This kind of work is about finesse, straight. I'll keep a lookout for items that do your needs, eh?
Lights out.
¡Que se escape!
¡Mátala!
¡Te vamos! ¡Te voy a hacer picadillo!
A clean strike.
It's actually really impressive when you come through here. Because you get into a fight with El Gigante and you destroy like the whole fucking area farm. So it could just be just another El Gigante fight, but it's not. Sorry, give me a second. And the destructibility of this actually really surprised me. Because this is like the only time in this game they ever have like widespread destructibility like this. And probably in the whole fucking series.
¡Puedo caminar!
That's right, I need to get these treasures while I still can. I forgot about that. Oh, you can actually see the hordes of villagers.
My, you are a popular one, Luis.
And in the original game, there's 2 village El Gigante fights, so people are like, where the fuck is it? And you thought in the original game they replaced it with the castle one, which in the base game they did. Or in the yeah, that's what I meant to say. But no, they have another one, but it's entirely different because the shared story like cover in this is great.
Sorry, big guy. Can't let you go that way.
Fuck. That's my bad. I mean, you don't think he's gonna do it too, but he fucking does.
Only a matter of time before it wrecks the place.
I kinda wanna see him wreck the whole place. God, that actually is really fucking cool. Like, that is really fucking cool.
That's the trick.
See how much of the village he can actually, or the farm he can actually fucking destroy. I want to see if he can destroy this whole building. Yeah, he can too. I mean, that's actually really impressive. I've never seen any more destruction on this scale in any other Resident Evil game. Anywhere close to it. Walking around with his pants fucking sagging.
Now look at the mess you've made.
Damn it. And then
Now stay down.
Sweet dreams.
Hey, got a smoke?
I do. The kind you like. Now where's the amber?
ah, sorry.
Fortunately, it's not on me at the moment. And you really should be telling me what a good job I did. Busted my ass and managed to hide it right before I got caught. Which is why I'm still alive.
The deal was, we get you out of here when you deliver the amber. No amber, no protection, Luis.
Such a stickler for details, huh, Ada? Okay, then. I'll go get it now, how about that? And I do have something else I need to get, too.
Back to the castle, Batman! Oh, this time you actually do explore a completely new area of the castle, the sewers. But I'm gonna take a break and... Oof. I'll be back in a little bit. Thank you for watching.